Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. My name is Puteri Binti Muhammad Kamal. Today, we would like to interview the owner of Bacon with Sunir Berhad company, which is Mr. Michael CM Tang. Why we choose him to interview? Because we believe that when we interview him, we will gain a lot of knowledge in terms of leadership especially. And he is the managing director of his company over 5 years, and he has a lot of experience in terms of staff, management, and of course organizations. So let's start the interview. Thank you.
Okay, a very good morning to everyone. I really hope that everyone in the ping of health. We will have an interview with the director of Bacon With Group of Company, which is Mr. Michael. As we all know, he is a top leader in his company. We can know that for sure he already faced all the challenges to be the great leader to handle his company and his team. So we're gonna start with Syafiq. He's gonna ask the first question to Mr. Michael. Thank you.
Okay, hello and good morning to Mr. Michael. So, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay, before that, my name is Mohd Aiman bin Azmi. We hope that you have a great day and good health. So, we're glad you have to us today. Thank you very much for your willingness to be in our interview today. As an opener to our interview session today, can you tell a little bit about yourself and your company background?
Morning, thanks for having me again. Name is Michael. Well, very short. I started working in 1990s. I joined a Norwegian company and I've been working for more than 20 years. And after that, I decided to embark on my own venture, because I felt that in my first industry, which is in the exploration oil and gas, it's mainly, I would say, man or work that also being done by foreigners. I thought, why don't we bring it to Malaysia, to create job opportunities to Malaysia as well, and bring it over here. And hence, these companies, they're all being created, basically to support the energy industry, the fossil energy industry in Malaysia. And I think it's important because, number one, it is to create a Malaysian brand, right? And secondly, Malaysia being a country, you have looked in both Peninsula Malaysia and Borneo as well. We have over 5,000 kilometers of coastline. And why don't we ourselves as a Malaysian brand and to support the Malaysian industry rather than having all the French regions, and foreigners. So that was the thing I had in mind, to set up the company and bring expertise here. Because in those days, this is a very the industry I was groomed from was a very, I would say exclusive, but the fact that it's a very close niche industry, generally managed by the Norwegians and French. So to take it to another level, to have, and at that time as well, I feel that, we should reduce the inflow of the Malaysian currency, right? So why don't we have water Malaysia subsidiary? So that was the ultimate goal of it, and that was like 10 years ago. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Michael, for telling us about yourself. I'm your second interviewer, Mohd Syahmi bin Sulaiman. We learned that you have been informed. You are own the company that have 100 subordinates. Can you tell us a little bit about it, and maybe you can tell us about your leadership style?
I think to put a specific things on the kind of leadership, I think it's a hybrid. I mean, I guess your management students per se. I would say it's going to be hybrid of coaching and pace setting. Number one, being a leader, particularly in Asia, and in fact anywhere in the world, I feel that you have to lead from the front. Yeah, pace setting, right? You lead by example, because that's what I kind of impart or utilize running with the group over here. Yeah, Syafiq.
Alright, thank you, Mr. Michael, for sharing about that. Before that, my name is Puteri Binti Kamal. I'm a third interviewer in these interview sessions. So if you don't mind, throughout your career, what is your challenge in becoming a good leader, and how did you handle your subordinates? How do you lead and manage them? How do you make sure your project and all the tasks stay on the schedule? Sorry if I asked too many questions.
The trust. Trusting your employee to ensuring that they can deliver. You can micromanage for sure, but then how many or how much can you micromanage? You can micromanage probably one or two people, say 10s, 20s, hundreds. You can't be doing that. So, the important thing, of course, is the trust, right? To ensure that they deliver on time. And most importantly, of course, you will hear from news, like criminal breach of trust. And so I think the most important thing, to ensure day one that you pick the correct staff. It's important to impart, I won't say the policies, but to impart, a company's culture of trust, transparency, and say, look, day one, this is how our company would run. And of course, you have policies in place, SOPs in place to be idiot-proof, right? So that there's always counter checks and balance. That's for the to trust. So basically, the challenge to me is always the trusting. Like Puteri asked, right?
Wow, you are a very good leader that we can learn from. By the way, my name is Mohd Farhan bin Munshi, as your last interviewer. So my question is, what do you do when one of your subordinates is not doing their job right? Does it ever come to your mind to fire them if they always keep repeating mistakes or not?
I think that is quite common, but for me, I think the important thing is to understand, why is this person, right, not delivering? Our point is, it will show competency, it will show, the person will show that they can do it, they will learn, right? But the person is almost there, it's a failure of HR, because you pick the person who says, oh, I've done it for 20 years, oh, it's easy peasy, that is easy. So, not going to work, right? Training, coaching, right? You can have internal or external coaching, you need to spend money. So, it's very important in the recruiting stage whereby you pick the right person for the right job. I feel that if you pick a person, and fail to perform certain roles, I think HR and the management has to take a piece of the blame as well. I wasn't blame, but take responsibility, right? Because they fail to identify the right person for the right job. You need to have the right tools for the right job and right person for the right job. So I think that is the best thing, to fit into the jigsaw puzzle of the organization. Yeah, I think that answers your question, right?
Okay, great answer from such a good leader. Okay, thank you, Mr. Michael. I have another question for you. What was the difficult decision that you have made as a leader? And if there is a difficult decision, how do you overcome it?
I think in many organizations, the laying people off, laying employees off due to economic reasons or whatever reasons, even reasons due to misconduct. All right, I'm talking about especially people who have worked with you for so long, and and at one stage you need to release them. I think that's in any organization, that's the most difficult position. But I think why is the company there? The company is there because it has its life itself, right? Every company has its life itself. It's the entity. Even the money of the company belongs to the company. It doesn't belong to any of the directors or any owners. It doesn't work like that. So now, the company is sustainability. You hear a lot of companies, many companies come out and say, nowadays, this generation, everybody seems to set up a company. But my question to them is always sustainability. In the company, is the brand name to maintain, sustain the brand, sustain the business. You're not a fly-by-night 2-year business and you shut down, you change name. Yes, there is the model, but certainly that's not a model I run. So whenever the company is set up, the thing is sustainability. Now, sustainability means you need something to fit into the company, which is a business, profitability. And yes, it doesn't come easy. So you have to make things objective. You be able to justify and answer yourself. Why do you make that decision? So that is the kind of the thing which we do.
Okay.
Alright, thank you, Mr. Michael. There's some challenges that you have already thought, but can you tell us about what the biggest challenge that you have faced in your company and how you survive it with your subordinate? The biggest one.
Biggest challenge. I think the biggest challenge is actually myself. It's handing over the baton. It is a group of companies. I build it. These companies are built to support the energy and industry, as well as they complement each other. Let's put it that way. And the important thing is to identify the right person, trustworthy, to be able to take over the company, because I can't be doing this, all right? I can't be doing. I mean, even yourselves in future, when you're CEO of a certain company, you need to look at a succession plan. Now, who do you pick as your next leader? And you need to groom the person. Now, in the process of grooming a person, to take up the role, yes, you tend to be, you may be a bit emotional. You may say, hey, look, I set these standards, right? And that person may quit and say, no, come on, this is too much for me. I can't take it, right? But now you have to identify a person, and you have to give the person a chance. But then again, you can't force a person, right? So I think the biggest challenge is to groom the right person. And I always believe, for me, is to promote from within. Those who started with us to know the country culture. It's not in my liking to recruit from the industry and put it as to lead the team. So basically, the challenge for me is to identify the right young people. It will take a few years, of course. The person has to be patient, right, and to take up the role, the leadership role. I think that's the biggest challenge for me. It's going to be a gamble, certainly, because mathematics 1 and 1 equals 2, right? I mean, you can't have 1 and 1 equals 11. That's very difficult. That's management science, right? So no books will tell you who's the right person. They can only give the theory, but at the end of the day, what's in the mind of the person, right? The minda, right? So that is the most challenging part. Letting what man's real. What is the thing is in his mind, the intention, right? So they need to be able to see the bigger picture, how they complement and how to continue, right? The sustaining the life cycle of the company. So that's the biggest challenge.
All right, thank you, Mr. Michael, for sharing your biggest challenge. My next question is, what is your plan as a leader for the future, and what are your goals for your company?
For me, right now is to take it to another level.
Oh, I see. Okay, glad to hear that. Okay, for the youngsters nowadays, can you give us an advice or a tips on how to be a good leader for our motivation?
I think, so I didn't know what students are you from? Are you management students or engineering students or?
Accounting students.
Accounting students.
Okay, all right. I think the important thing, I'll just, kind of divert pitch to the accountant finance. I think it's very important to understand finance. I know yourselves will be, very well versed in your ledgers, things like that. Now I'm talking about how being an accountant from that level, to take it to another level, to leadership, and say to be a CFO, right, to be a CEO, that kind of, that's what I'm trying to say. So understand your art, your numbers well, not understand why, the art, why such numbers are important.
That's such a good tip for us too. Thank you, Mr. Michael. May your future and plan goal be achieved eventually. Thank you so much for spending your time with us, Mr. Michael. Your cooperation is much appreciated, and have a good weekend, good health every day, and stay safe from COVID-19, Mr. Michael.
Sure.
That's all from me.
Sure.